Welcome back, everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the newly released iPhone 12 and the somewhat older iPhone 6s. Now, the 6s came out in 2015, and you can pick them up for like $80, probably even less than that. The iPhone 12 just got released, and you can pick them up for like $829. So I'll go ahead and find the cheapest ones on Amazon, link them down below. I probably won't link a 6s, it's kind of old. I'll probably leave like an iPhone 10 or 11 or something like that. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can kind of see that the iPhone 6s is smaller in every dimension than the iPhone 12. Of course, the sides are now flat on the iPhone 12. The curved sides on the iPhone 6s still aren't really that bad. On the front of the iPhone 6s, though, we have that 4.7-inch IPS panel, and it's a little bit above HD in terms of resolution. And it's not a bad panel. I've always thought it was okay, and I've said this time and time again, so stop me if you've heard this before. But pretty much, I mean, the biggest downside of this panel was pretty much everything surrounding the panel. And I said the same thing about the iPhone XR at the time, but it was like the opposite. This time, I can definitely tell you the 6S. The panel itself isn't bad. The design is just dated. But to make you guys feel better, the iPhone SE2 that just came out pretty much recycled the same design on the front, and it pretty much originated from the iPhone 6, but I mean, it's still there from the iPhone 6s. So I think this isn't horrible, but it's definitely dated. The iPhone 12, on the other hand, has that 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and it definitely is a really, really good display. I mean, it's like a humongous jump from the 6s, not only in terms of the way the panel looks, but also like just the notch and just everything about it just looks so much better. And you do have the flat sides now, which actually makes the phone look that much more bezel-less in a way. I like the way this phone looks. I like the way everything about it is, and I don't think it's the best panel of this year. I wish I saw 120 hertz on it, but I think for sure when it comes down to both of these, the iPhone 12, as expected, has a much better panel than the iPhone 6s. Now, in terms of the thickness between both, the iPhone 6s is definitely, I think, noticeably thinner than the iPhone 12, you can see. Now, because of the flat sides on the iPhone 12, it's a little bit different, but I would probably say between both the iPhone 12 is the thinner device for sure. On the back, you can see dual camera setup on the iPhone 12, single camera setup on the iPhone 6s, the standard glass back that feels really good on the iPhone 12, whereas on the 6s we have that original aluminum build, and I don't think it's a bad build. I think it actually looks and feels pretty good in the hand still for a 2015 device, but the iPhone 12 definitely feels more premium. A major thing, you're also getting IP certification on the iPhone 12. You're not getting any IP certification on the iPhone 6s. You're getting wireless charging with the MagSafe capability on the back of the iPhone 12. You don't really have wireless charging on the iPhone 6s either. So besides just the way they look and everything, there are some huge differences internally as well. But I think the biggest difference is probably in terms of the software. The iPhone 6s is probably going to be ending off on iOS 14. The iPhone 12 is going to be lasting forever. It just got started with iOS 14. It's probably even going to be lasting even longer than what we're expecting, if I could be completely honest. Now, the 6S, great phone. It had a pretty decent software support. We didn't even think it was going to get iOS 14. The iPhone 12 is just getting started. So in terms of the longevity, the iPhone 12 is definitely going to be lasting longer. But for now, these two things are still supported as of me making this video. If you're watching this a year later, the 6S may not be supported anymore. But I think for sure, for the time being, if you have a 6S, it's not a horrible software experience because it's still supported, it's still iOS. These things are still getting updates around the same day or same time that they're coming out. So it's just iOS 15, the next version of iOS, may be a little bit different on both. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go ahead and do a speed comparison between them. The iPhone 6s has that Apple A9 chip with 2 gigabytes of RAM, the first iPhone to bring 2 gigs, where the iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Now that we're back, let me go and clear the apps in the background, and of course with the iPhone 12 I didn't clear it out. And there we go. Let's go and start opening these things up. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And the 12 definitely far faster there. Music, 3, 2, 1. It's probably not even going to notice anything. Well, maybe the iPhone 12 will actually be faster here. And nope, I guess the 6S may have been a little bit faster to open this one up. I don't know why it's taking so long to load up on the iPhone 12. Let's go and get into some random website. Let's do Apple, 3, 2, 1. And definitely faster on the iPhone 12. The 6S eventually got into it. Now, I think this has more to do with the network speed, but that was actually still very interesting that the iPhone 12, beat the iPhone 6S by that much. You're going to be seeing differences all over the place. Now, let's go ahead and do the App Store, which I don't know where it's at. 3, 2, 1. And you can see again, iPhone 12 faster, iPhone 6s shortly behind, getting through and kind of scrolling through the apps and everything. You can definitely see the iPhone 12 is far faster than the iPhone 6s in my opinion. Now, I have a bunch of these third-party apps so we can go and get into. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And even when I click on the app, I notice that there's already that big of a jump in performance, in my opinion. That's pretty insane. And look at the iPhone 12. That phone is just flying past the iPhone 6s. This is very, very interesting, in my opinion. We're fully loaded on the iPhone 12. The 6s eventually gets into it, and it's even stuttering in terms of loading it up. So you're going to be seeing humongous differences between these two phones in terms of performance and everything. Now I'm going to go and click play and let's see if there's a difference in performance. I'm expecting the 6s to glitch up a little bit, and it really hasn't done it. But that loading speed initially is very, very interesting between both devices for sure. Dropbox 321 and the iPhone 12 faster. iPhone 6s shortly behind it. Quizlet 321. Again, iPhone 12 faster. iPhone 6s behind. Netflix 321. And again, iPhone 12 faster. iPhone 6s a little bit behind it. Snake vs. Blocks 321. And the iPhone 12 is faster. The iPhone 6s gets, is a little bit behind it for sure. Getting into some gameplay, I think they're going to be about the same on both. Yeah, I don't really think there's that big of a difference between them, but that's still very interesting. Thank you 321. And even just closing out of the app was so much faster on the iPhone 12 and a much smoother experience. The iPhone 12, eventually gets into it. iPhone 6s shortly behind it. Gameplay wise, about the same again. Not a ginormous difference between them, but still pretty interesting in my opinion. Let's do stack 321. And you can see iPhone 12 eventually gets into it. iPhone 6s, like behind it again, it is what it is. I'm expecting the 6s to be slower. Fruit Ninja 321. Now I'm going to run into 50,000 problems in this app like I've been having before. So I guess we'll just see what happens. Actually, this might work out. So the 12 is already into it. The 6s, I'll just wait until it fully loads. And so even that was a pretty big difference between both. We can do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Now, there may be some issues on the iPhone 6s. It may take 50,000 minutes to load up, so we'll just see what happens. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long, though, because it's going to take 50 minutes. And again, another little pop-up, and I'm going to tell you this. The iPhone 6s is going to take longer to load up in this app than the iPhone 12, so there's no point in even waiting for it. Let's do Snapchat 321. We already have it signed in here, and 6s eventually into it. Twitter 321. Again, the iPhone 12 faster. iPhone 6s gets into it. Facebook 321. And iPhone 12 is faster. iPhone 6s gets into it. I mean, what I can tell you is for sure the iPhone 12 is the faster performing device than the iPhone 6s. However, RAM management has been extremely weird on this device, but time and time again, anytime you open an app on the iPhone 6s, it's going to be a faster experience compared to the iPhone 12 for sure, 100%. Now, as you can see, RAM management is seeming to be about the same on both, and that's something that I really don't like. Like, RAM management is just as important as speed. You want to be able to keep these apps in the background, and the iPhone 12 is restarting as much as the iPhone 6s. It makes absolutely no sense to me. This phone has twice the amount of RAM, so it should theoretically be better, and there we go. It did kind of keep that app open, but I still was probably expecting more from the iPhone 12 right there. It's very weird that that's the case, and I don't know why that happens. It happens like every single test. I guess we can go into Dropbox, and I guess it is a little bit better. Initially, it was pretty bad, though. I don't know why it was so bad in the beginning with. So the iPhone 12 is the better performing device for sure when it comes down to speed comparison. RAM management, I don't really know what's going on with it, but let's go ahead on the cameras. Now, like I said, 12 megapixel wide angle lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide on the iPhone 12, and only a 12 megapixel single wide angle lens on the iPhone 6s. Now, I think my iPhone 6s just died on me, and I don't really know what happened. Okay, I guess it's restarting. But, I mean, I can definitely tell you, I mean, I don't even have to, sit here and explain it for 50 minutes. The iPhone 12 will have a far better camera than the iPhone 6s. I've had a pretty decent experience on the iPhone 6s camera, but you're getting things like portrait mode. Night mode, and all those different things from the iPhone 12, where the iPhone 6s unfortunately doesn't have it. That's not to say the iPhone 6s camera is horrible. It actually brought a lot. This was the first iPhone we could do 4K at 30 on, and that's a big deal. But you can do 4K 60 on the back camera of this phone, but not only that, you can do 4K 60 on the front camera of the iPhone 12, where the 6s, doesn't have that capability. It can't do 4K on the front camera. And I'll definitely tell you, in this day and age, I use my front camera more than I use my back camera, and in this case, the iPhone 12 definitely wins in the camera department. Now, hitting on the battery life, I did a battery test between them, and I saw that the iPhone 12 had far better battery life than the iPhone 6s. The iPhone 6s, from my test, only lasted for about an hour, I think less than 2 hours of the same test. The iPhone 12, I ended it at like 6 hours and 50 minutes in, and it was still at like 12%. So that was a pretty big difference. The iPhone 12 will surely outlast the iPhone 6s when it comes down to the battery department of both of these. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up the iPhone 6s, should you keep it, or should you go for the iPhone 12, or should you go for the iPhone 12? what I can tell you is between both devices, you can't really go wrong with the iPhone 12. I mean, going from the 6S to the 12 is an important upgrade to say the least. I mean, this phone, yeah, it's expensive, kind of, not really. I mean, it's expensive, from the previous models, but it's a very important thing to do. If you have a 6S, I still think you can probably rock with it for like another couple of months, maybe. But at a certain time, you're going to have to go and upgrade your device. It's going to break on you just like how it just randomly restarted on me. That's the first time that's happened, I think. The iPhone 12 is a perfect phone for a majority of people out there. It's kind of expensive, like I stated, but if you have all the money in the world, I would even recommend getting an iPhone 12 Pro over an iPhone 12. But I think, like I stated before, the 6S still has some things going for it. It's still supported with software. The performance isn't completely horrible, and it's still in working condition for the most part, even though I have it bent here and even though it just randomly shut off on me. I still think this phone has some, stuff to still like put on the table. But I think, like I said before, for a majority of people out there, going from the 6S to the 12 is a worthwhile upgrade. But like I stated before, these aren't the only phones available. You can go from an iPhone 6S to an iPhone 11 or even an iPhone 6S to an iPhone 10R and still get a humongous jump in performance and everything. So that is something that's also very important for me to say. Apple is still selling the iPhone 10R and iPhone 11, and those are worthwhile upgrades for sure. So if you have an iPhone 6S, going to those phones is like kind of like a no-brainer in my opinion. So when it comes down to that, that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.